Yes, people, welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well. Make sure you smash the like button whether you're watching live or on replay. I really do appreciate every like. Make sure you get in the comment section as well. As I said, the chat is flowing and also on replay. So many of you commenting, giving your opinions, things you'd love to see. I do take note. We've had great opinions recently on the likes of Tyrone Mings. We've had opinions, of course, as well on the goalkeeper situation. But today's news is going to be completely different. Also, I'm going to be telling you something special that you can get involved in, involving fantasy football versus Aston Villa versus Tottenham, a special game that you can get involved in with myself tomorrow and a chance to win some money as well. So big up to each and every single one of you. But the news today is, of course, Marco Asensio. The signing looks permanent. This one is imminent. This one is just around the corner. Rashford, again, what is happening with this guy? Well, there's more information that we found out about Marcus Rashford in terms of his situation with the transfer. And surprisingly, Aston Villa do not have first dibs on Marcus Rashford, which is what I thought would be something that would be agreed between both parties. It hasn't been. Again, we've got more Nypan situation and a deal in where he is not officially confirmed, but he sort of is, and whether we're going to be Arsenal to the race. And of course, we've had the news about Young Player of the Year, Manager of the Season. Well, we do have a nomination. Morgan Rogers is in our Young Player of the Year category of nomination. So I'm absolutely buzzing about that one, and we'll discuss that further. But yeah, hope everyone is good. Hope everyone is well. Good to see the chat flowing. Good to see the vibes. Good to see regular people. Darwin, Michael Dimmock, 1874, Meeks. Big up to you guys. We're going to go straight into the Rashford situation. And as I said, do hang fire as well, because we've got something special to get involved in to make the watch along a little bit spicy, a little bit better tomorrow. Something I've been meaning to do, something I'm looking to do with my watch alongs and how you change the way in which we can do a watch along. Well, I found something involving players, fantasy football, and something I want to talk to you guys more about as well. So don't go anywhere. So big up everyone. Look, here we go then. Let's get into the Asensio story straight away. Let's not beat around the bush here. And let's get ready to rock and roll with this one. Marco Asensio is happy in England and has given the green light to remain at Aston Villa beyond this season. Villa will pay about 15 million euros to sign him and will offer him a 3-year contract. His signing is imminent, hence the title Asensio signing imminent. It seems that we are going to go and get this player over the line. Now, listen, first and foremost, as we always do, let's go have a look at the source. The source is Estadio Deportivo. And if you want to translate their bio, their passion for sports, almost 30 years with you. And of course, if you haven't worked it out, it is a media outlet that is independent, 132,000 followers. And of course, they love the Spanish news. They focus primarily on Spanish latest updates. So that's the source there, just so we know. Now, again, I'm talking about tier of source. This isn't a big one. This isn't a massive tier. It's not a Fabrizio. It's not an Ornstein. But this is, again, someone who specifically covers the Spanish media and journalism. So Marco Asensio, he actually wants to stay at Villa. And again, the thing that Meets has just nailed what I actually think as well. And I want to know people's opinion on Marco Asensio and let me know your thoughts on this. And that's people in the comments live now or on replay. Marco Asensio then. So when I first heard the Marco Asensio situation when he first broke onto the scene, you would be lying to me right now if I said to you after Asensio's first couple of games for Aston Villa, I said to you guys, you can get this guy for 15 million euros. You're all laughing. You're all saying, yes, please. You're all saying, thank you very much. And you're almost saying, is this a con? That's what you're basically saying to me. You're saying, is this some sort of con? 15 million euros. You got to be winding me up here, Josh. You got to be winding me up. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Good to see Goats in nearly 45 months. And remember, yes, the Goats are 10 days away. Big up. Make sure we're subscribing to Fraser's YouTube channel. And Meat says, although he's dropped a bit, he's worth so much more than 15 million euros. Exactly that. So I see it as this as well. I'm not going to lie. I see a signing Asensio as also taking him away from a rival, a potential buyer in the Premier League, someone he could do more impact or damage on us. And I do see him as someone where we will find competition, where we will find sort of an impact. And what the biggest conundrum that Unai Emery has to rack his brain with, as we always say, how do you get the best out of Morgan Rogers, And of course, Marco Asensio. Again, he has frequently gone with Asensio Rodgers. Asensio Rodgers. He's been consistent with playing those two, and he's trying to show us Villa fans that those two can play in the same team. So when I ask you right now in the chat, 15 million euros for Marco Asensio, done deal. The player has given the green light to remain at Aston Villa. Are we laughing? Are we laughing? Now, I don't know if anyone's aware of his wage situation. And that's something that if the chat can inform me on, that would be good. I should have checked that. I don't actually know predominantly what wages we'd be looking at with Marco Asensio, but I'm hoping they're sensible wages. I'm hoping they're wages in which we're not going to have that 90% sort of, threshold where we've been talking about with Villa's wages and impact on PSR, as we are one of the teams who pay the highest wages now in the Premier League across the board. So, Asensio for 15 million euro. Am I shaking your hand? Yes, I am. People are saying he's an impact sub. Now, listen, we ain't signing this guy to be an impact sub, surely. But I also see the other side of the coin, that we need to keep our squad depth at the level of what it is, which is to increase the depth, increase the sort of suitability of it. Another credit I'm going to give Asensio is that he's already suited to Unai Emery's way. He knows what Aston Villa is. He knows how Aston Villa sort of unfolds. Sorry, I've just been distracted. I've just realised I got my son's sticker on from school. Old Treddy Bear. I literally just saw that. It's a dog with balloons. There you go. Random story for you. I just saw that. Just so anyone's aware and looking, going, what's that? I've literally just clocked it myself. Big up, Treddy Bear. But big up, Theodore. But yeah, £15 million. I know I got distracted there. 15 million euros. I'm all for it. Only worry I'll have is his wages. And second of all, I see this, again, 3-year contract. We're looking at the bigger picture of Asensio. We're looking at a longer term situation here. And we're looking at a man who simply has almost really enjoyed his time at Aston Villa today and this season. And I like that. And this is what I'm saying about Rashford. It links nicely onto Rashford in a second. But I like that we've basically given Asensio a taste of life at Aston Villa. And he's turned around and gone, I like this life. I like Unai Emery. I like the football club. I like where it's going. Sign me up. Find me a home. And that's probably the biggest criticism of Marco Asensio's career. Marco Asensio has never found a home. He's never found a home. He's never been deployed properly at Real Madrid. He's been played in all sorts of positions. PSG, again, pushed out. Not really. When you get told you're not part of this new PSG evolution under Luis Enrique, and by the way, probably the right choice because they've got to a Champions League final because of it, you sort of go and find me a home. Could Aston Villa be a home where Marco Asensio finds the love of the game? Then we bloody hope so. Let's see what some of the comments are saying because I love it. He looks great in claret blue as well. Absolutely. What else have we got? We've got also Spanish connection from Unai to Marco. Exactly. Big up to Plastic. Avon Barksdale as well. Big up to you. Meeks is I want to keep Bailey. Asensio needs a pacey wing and crossing balls to get the best out of him, and we don't sign Rashford. Facts. This is a fact. If you think about some of the goals in which Asensio scored this season, they've been those runs from wingers out wide, cutting the ball back to Asensio, who's arrived in the 18-yard box. If you think about Marcus Rashford's combination with Asensio, it's worked really well. And exactly that. He needs pacey wingers to thrive. And do you know what? That is my biggest thing, again, where I'll probably touch on is how do we get the best combination of Rodgers, Asensio? I'll always ask that question. Maybe we are seeing it. Maybe you could turn around and go, hey, Josh, we've seen the best combination. Look at our Premier League form. Look at how we are at Villa Park. Potentially there is. Michael said, my 4-year-old gave me a star stick to clean a room. Love that, Michael. Join the Star Club. Love it. Sai saying, big up to Sai. Do we reckon Dean goes to someone and bring a young deputy to Maatsen? I think we lose one of the left backs. I don't think both left backs will be happy. Maatsen certainly won't be happy sitting on the bench again next season. Luca Dean, though, he's loved at the club. He's missed the social media in a way for another one, as we all know. Tough decision. Can Villa go into next season with both those full backs? And you'll have to wait and see. But I think he's one of those that we could find a way. My dad said 15 million buy fee sounds good, but as you say, wages will be key. Exactly. Meeks said, isn't he on about 200k at PSG? He is. And big up to James Wood as well in the chat. And Darwin says 50 million is definitely worth having on our squads. Facts. D's loving it, and Bongo Bongo as well. Loving it, loving it, loving it. People, if you're loving the show and loving the vibe, then of course do smash that like button for me. Massively appreciate it. Interesting. Sharik says Coutinho 2.0. People laughed at this at the start, yet so far he's following the exact same path. Blitzing start, then gradually gets worse and worse. Who agrees with Sharik here? Because potentially he's on the right tune as well. But when Coutinho bursted on the scene under Steven Gerrard, he was scoring worldies. We were like, wow, how have we got so lucky landing Coutinho? Now when we talk about Coutinho, we're like, bloody hell, we're stuck with this guy on our wage bill. We're trying to sell him to Vasco da Gama. We're not having much luck selling him to Vasco da Gama. Can someone come and take my bloody Philippe Coutinho? And yeah, that's what I'm saying. So who agrees with Sharik? I think he's got some volume to that. My only thing about Marco Asensio that differs from Philippe Coutinho is, number one, hasn't had the injury extent of what you would probably say Coutinho had. And Marco is 29 years old, so still a fairly good age, Marco Asensio. In that sense, that's where I'd probably put the argument elsewhere. Let's see what else is there. Loads of great comments in the chat about right back as well. I'll be banging the drum for right back side. Don't you worry. How many years? Debut chatting there. Asensio needs a full pre-season. He absolutely does. Stadium expansion won't be done until 2027, 2028. So that's a long way. Mustafa, big up to you. Emmy not going anywhere with the World Cup. I love all the chat. I love all the chat. Look. Final boss has tried to deliver the bad blow. We will touch on this news as well about Axel Disasi. Yeah, that one was an interesting one. So let's conclude on Marco Asensio. Marco Asensio, imminent signing, 15 million euros. Happy days. Keep the wages low, and we're all laughing here, Villa fans. So big up to you guys in that sense. Right, who wants the Rashy news then? I'm sure some of you have seen that Marcus Rashford news. A weird one. By the way, I always like to say, as I said, I like using the X social media site to use Villa Report and for Total Villa. They both do really well. They both give good information, and it's very clean to do. So big up to them. But yeah, I don't want to sit. Look, he's already broken the news, the final boss, and I will be bringing that in on this show. Let's go to the Rashford situation then. Now, first of all, let's go straight to the source. Let's go straight to the source. It's not Worcester sauce. It's not tomato ketchup. It's not bloody brown sauce. Terrible dad jokes, I know. But it is. The source is James Ducker, Northern football correspondent, the Daily and Sunday Telegraph, Man United and Man City in the main. So, formerly at the Times. Source-wise, this guy's good. This guy's where it's at. So, Rashford, again, please get involved in the Rashford chat in the comments. Love hearing your thoughts on Marcus Rashford. Love hearing your opinions on him. Here it is. And ready? Aston Villa can turn Marcus Rashford's loan into a permanent move for 40 million if they wish. The player is open to it. Well, that's good news. Rashford is open to coming to us for 40 million pounds. But it isn't. But this is the bit that shocked me of this story. This is the bit that shocked me of this story. But it's understood there is nothing in the loan agreement that gives Villa first option on the player or to stop other clubs from buying him at the same price. Now. Let's talk about that part. Why did we not put that in? Usually when you do these sort of loan deals and situations, when you have those situations, the first thing you do is you put that agreement in. You go, listen, yeah, we'll take him on loan, we'll develop him, we'll harvest him. And do you know what? If it works out, I want to make sure we get him. Worst thing you can do is Villa go, we give Rashford a January to May season. We elevate his career. By the way, we've got him back in the England selection. We do that. We do the hard graft. We work with him all summer saying, look, Rashy, we want the 40 million. We're going to do it at Man United. We've looked at the books. We're going to pull it out. We're going to do it. And then someone comes in. Let's just give a really crap club like Chelsea, and they come in and they go, "Oh, we got 40 million, and we'll probably chuck another player at you or something." Or we got 45 mil. We get absolutely pissed on. Chelsea come in, and there it goes. And so maybe the point is correct, as I said in chat, that maybe we knew we couldn't afford Marcus Rashford. Maybe that money's never been there, and maybe we don't know how it's going to go. But look, there's real mixed opinions on Marcus Rashford. First of all, you got to ask yourself, do we see the outlay of Marcus Rashford of 40 million in this current market as a good proposition? Do you see that as a good proposition? And look, you can argue this about Marcus Rashford. You know, people are going to have recency bias about Marcus Rashford, and the recency bias is what Sai ABFC has said, and I think Sai raises a good point about him being at the boxing. There's also that recency bias of the fact that Marcus Rashford is injured; he can't really do much for the end of the season. However, we have to talk about two things for me about Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, for me, has shown that he can do the number 9 role or the left winger role. And he did that number 9 role pretty well. I thought against Manchester City at the Etihad, if he'd finished his dinner, it would have been a different scoreline. And we could have said that about Ollie. But what Marcus Rashford showed me at the Etihad is when you play Rashford as a number 9, he causes problems, he causes threats. And most importantly as well, for me, is that he gives a different option. And we're all talking about, Villa need to find a replacement striker. Villa need a backup striker. What if Rashford is that answer still staring us in the face? That we actually keep Watkins and we keep Marcus Rashford. And we use them both as 9s. By the way, I have got some news on Watkins that I'm not happy about as well that I'm going to come into. Let me know. And let me know your thoughts on that as well. Do you see Rashford as that 9? Is Rashford the answer? Like 1874 is coming in here, loud and proud. He said, Rashford is the answer. Now, I know a lot of you have mentioned about the wages. We have to be real. The wages are disgusting. The wages are an issue. And the wages are something that I don't want to get us enticed to. I want to know which club, if any club, will pay the wages that Marcus Rashford is on now or would want. Seriously. Because I can't see it. Cannot see it. Man United are fools, always will be, always have been. And I can't see where that money goes elsewhere. Rashford simply cannot turn up expecting the wages. And I really respect the chat's opinion here about the boxing thing. Now, if you're a person of principle and you see that and you go, FA Cup semi-final, he should have been in the stands, he should have been there supporting the boys. Look, the other side of the coin is, how do we know he wasn't there? You know, you could be really devil's advocate. How do we know he didn't keep a low profile? But that, you know, a lot of people have assumed and said he wasn't there. Does that then impact your view on him? Well, sometimes you see players who are injured, maybe on a Champions League game or evening, and you see them taking pictures on their TV, watching the game at home, and sort of showing that. I think probably the one thing that has annoyed Villa fans, and this is where I stand with Rashford. Rashford has basically pretty said, I only play Champions League football or nothing. He's basically said that I'm only going to sign for Villa if they get Champions League. And annoyingly, Rashford can't have an impact on making us play Champions League football because he's injured. But ultimately, he has that power. And so I'm asking Rashford 40 million, and this is where I land with it. And I think someone put it really nicely in the chat. Something about we don't want him to just be open to it. Yeah, here it is. I want to hear that he wants it, not just open to it. Absolutely. Trying to read as many comments as I can. Mustafa's loving it as well. Rashford had to take a pay cut, says Lee. You're right, Lee. Mr. Black Diamond, Rashford isn't taking a pay cut. Chat, do you agree with that as well? Do we see Rashford taking a pay cut? Yes or no? I think he's got to drop massive, massive money to take a pay cut. I really do. Really, really do. So let me know your thoughts on that one. Should Rashford take a pay cut? Do you think he will? And yeah, would love to know your thoughts on that, people. I really would. Obligation should have been the loan deal, Josh. Exactly. I'm annoyed we didn't put an obligation in there. But yeah, as I said, there's some of you who are saying you don't like him going to the boxing. That's fair enough. Meeks is saying you can't argue that Rashford hasn't been brilliant for us. We would be fighting with UCL without him. I think the impact of Marcus Rashford is there for everyone to see. I think he's had a really good spell at us. And probably more importantly, as I've sort of said at the start, is to be really cyclical about it, is that he's done a job as a number 9 for us as well, where Ollie went into his quiet patch. Maybe, just maybe, we've got to be grateful for that as well. So, yeah. But I'll tell you this now. I don't want to spend all summer chasing Marcus Rashford. Rashford should know, right, by end of May, June. But in fact, you know what? I'll go even further to say this. Rashford should know by the time the final whistle goes at Old Trafford whether he will play Champions League football. Now, the irony is, will we see Rashford in the stands at Old Trafford as we go and play his parent club as such? But he should know if he's going to sign for Villa. I don't want to be messed around by him. I want him to turn around and go, hey, Villa, you got Champions League football. I'm here now. Let's get it done. And Villa will go, okay, Marcus, take a pay cut. We'll pay the 40 million. We think we see the absolute prosperity of who you are, what you can offer, versatility. So there we go. No, too much wages. When I said about Lucas Dean going purely because wages is not even half of Rashford's. Interesting side. Even Rashford half his wages, which he won't, is still too much for us, says Sharif. James says, I'll be more worried about Rashford getting a contract and down tooling. He seems to like doing that at United. Yeah, I get that. Which is the risk of Rashford and Asensio, right? Is that they came to us on loan. They auditioned for us. We've been hook, lined, and sinkered by them. Are they going to keep those standards? It's an interesting one. So yeah, Meeks doesn't give a crap about the boxing scenario. Does on the issue. My issue is how can Villa justify 250k on Rashford when others on 100? Yet we've got to have an equal wage bill. And then all of a sudden, chat. Think about this. Rashford goes on 250k. Well, what's Kamara going to say? Hey, you want me to sign the new deal? I'm signing the new deal, but I want Marcus's wages. And then Morgan Rogers goes, hello, yeah, you want to keep me? Yuri, hello, you want to keep me? And then all of a sudden, Villa get themselves into that problem. And wages are the thing that I always look at with Aston Villa. We're trying to compete with wages. We're trying to make wages sustainable. And we used to do that. We used to keep players around 100k or lower. Everyone's creeping up and up and up. And it is a worry about that. But yeah, Rashford to Barcelona, as I said, is still an option. But as I said, I'm going to put the story up one more time and going on to the next story about Nypan, which is that Aston Villa can turn Rashford's loan into a permanent move for 40 million, and the player's open to it. There should be an asterisk in there if we get Champions League, I'll be honest. And then it says, but it's understood there is nothing in the loan agreement that gives Villa first option on the player, which is 100% where I'm annoyed at. Why didn't we sort that out? How do we not sort that out? How do we not sort that out? You know, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. We should have. We should have. So there we go. Isn't Disasi an upgrade on Carlos? We're going to talk on Disasi. By the way, chat, do strap yourself in for this one. This is going to be a longer stream tonight because there's so much news to cover. And it's not even like Tottenham yet. There's so much news to cover. It's unbelievable. And I'm loving all the support out here. So make sure you are subscribing, commenting, and liking. I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, people want Malin to get more minutes. I love that. And there's so many comments and trying to, you know, that's what I like on my channel is to try and interact as much with the chat. But I've got to stream past people. Signing Rashford could cause a lot of problems. It could. Let's big up to Alan Matthews. He said players to leave this season: Cash, Bailey, and Ramsey. Hopefully the spine isn't broken up, as it's not good changing too many chances. Good teams don't do big changes every season. And unfortunately, Alan, you made a very good point. We don't want to lose Kamara. We don't want to lose Emmy in goal. We don't want to lose Watkins, spine of our team. You don't want to take it apart. 100% agree. But as I said, with Aston Villa, because of PSR, I hate to swallow these words and say these words. We are a selling club. We are a selling club. We are a selling club. Arsenal aren't paying up Ollie. Only one on the cheat. Agree. But yeah, big up to you guys. And there we go. And I think Meeks accidentally got blocked on the chat. Go steady, mods. Go steady. But yeah. Let me know your thoughts. Love it all. Let's go on to the next story then. And this is the one that entices me again the most. The wonder boy, the wonder kid, the man that Arsenal, if we can beat Arsenal to sign him, it will be absolute scenes, people. It'll be absolute scenes. Because I just love getting one over Arsenal. By the way, has anyone seen our terrible... I'm losing time because I just saw the story there. But there we go. Here we go. The story on Nypan. Rosenborg expect to receive up to 20 million for Sverre Nypan. He is highly regarded by Arsenal, but Aston Villa believe they would offer a quicker route to the first team and are hopeful they can get a deal done once the season has ended. Okay, so why is Nypan an exciting proposition? He's been dubbed as the new golden boy of Norway, aka better than Martin Odegaard. He's broken into the Rosenborg first team. He's only 18 years old. He's played top flight football in Norway. He's absolutely taking a shine. And this guy is honestly dibbed as a wonder kid. And what we love about that as well, he's already scored his first professional goal in 7 games, a central midfielder. But I love that Villa are confident that we can give him more first team football. I love that Villa are going, do you know what, Nypan? We can and we will give you more first team football. It simply has to be us over Arsenal. Our pathway and route is better. So, look, when you talk about wonder kids, you're paying a big price again. You know, this 20 million is a lot for an 18-year-old. And we've seen that again. If we talk about 18-year-olds, we bought Kostan Djokovic for a fairly hefty fee at 18 years old. Look, that for me, again, is we thought he would be the next up-and-coming right back. I'm nowhere near it. This is different. This hits different. Nypan is different. He is honestly massive for the future of Aston Villa. If we get this guy for 20 million, I promise you this. If you want to think about this guy is going to be this guy will be a 60 to 80 million player one day. This kid's going to be a 60 to 80 million pound player one day. And you've got to ask yourselves, are you having Nypan or are you having Bogard? Who are we putting our eggs in? It's Nypan for me all day. This deal is on the cards. I want us to beat Arsenal to him. I just want to stop Arsenal getting this Norwegian wonder kid, and I really believe it's our time to do that. So, yeah, I think we've got to make absolute money from him. Yeah, Alan Ford's right. Even if we just bung 25 mil for him, we'd make loads on a resale. I know. Wow, exactly. This boy is special. Trust me. Go check out the highlights reel. I've seen a highlights reel of this guy. I know it's highlights, but think about this: 18 years old. He's played 7 games in the Norwegian top flight. He scored his first senior goal at centre mid. It's some feat. It's some feat and achievement. And I'm really excited about this. And there's been so many clubs looking at him. Arsenal thought they had him, but they won't. They really won't. But yeah, is Meeks back in the chat? Is he allowed back in the chat? 1874. We sorted that issue out because I can't see. But yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. And thank you. We nearly got 30 likes. 50 likes is the like target today. So do hit that like button. Right, here we go. So much news to cover today. We're blitzing through this. The next one then is, of course, I'm not going to talk about Unai Emery's press conference as such. A little bit of Ollie news again. And again, Tom Collymos is someone that is the source. He, of course, is the one that reports for the Mail Sport. Again, the Mail, hit and miss. Sometimes he lands them, sometimes he doesn't. But here's some Ollie Watkins. Here's some Ollie Watkins news, okay? And by the way, great questions on PSR in the chat. Before I go to Ollie Watkins, I can see so many of you talking about the likes of Buendia, Kostan Djokovic. We've got to get rid of Dendoncker. He's flopped at Anderlecht, by the way. He's flopped at Anderlecht. Okay? He's absolutely flopped at Anderlecht. So we're not going to get any money for Dendoncker. We're absolutely screwed with him. Ilan Jr. and Enzo Baranchea, I can see us selling both of them. We're going to try and make some money on that. But here's the Watkins news. What's your thoughts and opinions on this? True or bullshit, do you reckon? And I think I'm going to have my say on this soon. Listen, Ollie Watkins was left disappointed when Aston Villa turned down the offer from Arsenal for him last January and has been frustrated at times when left out of the starting lineup. Okay. Is this guy an Arsenal fan? Is this guy a blue nose? Is this guy genuinely trying to always unsettle Ollie Watkins? I've got to ask him. He actually follows me on X. So I'm half tempted to slide into his DM soon. I'm going to make a prediction. Between now and the end of the season, he will make another Ollie Watkins story. And there'll be another Ollie Watkins story, and it will be a negative one. It really seems to me that Tom Collymos is trying to sell Ollie Watkins He's reported stories after stories. And if you don't believe me, I've done a few streams now where we've come up to Tom, and it's always been about Watkins. Now, look, how do you know he's left disappointed? Maybe that's obvious, that one. Ollie Watkins was left disappointed with Aston Villa turned down the offer. Of course, if Arsenal come in for you or it's a boyhood club, you may turn around and go, yeah, I'm a bit upset. I wanted to go there, but I can get on with it. Yeah, idiot. The second part is he's been left frustrated at times when left out of the starting lineup. So, wouldn't we be more concerned and annoyed if he didn't? If he didn't be annoyed about being dropped? Where's the story about Watkins and his goals? Where's the story about Ollie Watkins being all-time Premier League Villa goal scorer? You know what I'm saying? Where is that story? Where is that story? And I get what James would have said. Why do we give him so much airtime? The problem is, James, there's going to be people out there who will believe it. And I think sometimes it's our job to say, it's BS. Don't believe the Watkins. Don't believe the Watkins news. I'm a believer he stays. I'm really still flying that flag. I can't see anything with an Ollie staying at Villa situation. I can't see past it. I really can't. So yeah, that one for me, I don't get it. I don't like it. And I think it's absolutely BS, basically, in a nutshell. Right. Let's drop another bomb that came in today, and I thought, you're joking. Is this a wind-up? I can't see this one. Again, source-wise, I'll give you the credit of the source first, and then you can make your mind up. I don't think it's... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I rank these. But you have to sometimes believe some of the transfers, and you're not. AVFC 1982 says, it's all bullshit until Sky Sports announce it. I would probably say this. I think Sky Sports are some of the slowest journalists out there. I think the best way to say it is either when the player announces it or when the club social media announces it. If you really want a story, it's got to be when the club announces it. You've got the likes of, and this is the changing dynamic now, isn't it? This is the ever-changing dynamic of football transfers. You want to believe stories from these journos who are in the know, your Fabrizios, your Ornsteins. But the one problem I'd say is Ornstein and Fabrizio had a bit of a stinker this summer. They had a little bit of a stinker this summer. Do you know who I actually really like, chat? Do you know who I actually really like? Percy. Percy at the back post, I always say. I think Percy's the man. When I hear a John Percy story, I'm all in. He seems to know Villa in and out. Yeah, he's going nowhere, Alan Formula would agree. So I said, their bid was the same time as Duran, and if we saw him, we'd have no striker. Exactly. And Ollie will understand that. So yeah. I don't think Ornstein's obviously talked about Watkins and Arsenal situation, and it was then the deal was prepared to reek. But what this Tom Colomos is saying is Watkins is kicking off between the lines. Yeah. So there we go. Question then. Santi Aouna has reported this. Again, journalist of the Foot Mercato. I don't actually know some of this, and you can't translate it, but he loves the transfer news. Now, again, whether he's given himself a first place medal, which is he said he's a first tier journalist. When you see this, by the way, ranking yourself in journalists, he's calling himself a top tier journo. Look at this then. The idea is for Axel Disasi to continue at Aston Villa beyond his loan. Interesting. Does that mean we're not signing a centre back? Does that mean we're losing 2 centre backs? What is the crap there? Again, I'm going to put this one on record with this news here. I think that's a load of BS. Unless Villa have stupidly agreed with that. Now, the only other thing that has just come to my mind as I've said that is potentially, it's a little Amari Kellyman, Chelsea under the carpet, Ian Matson transfer PSR situation, chat. It could be one of them. You know how we gave them Amari Kellyman? And yeah, he's played 0 minutes for Chelsea this season. You know how we gave him Amari Kellyman? And we had a bit of Ian Maatson, and it was all a little bit under the carpet. And I say when you say Ian Maatson, it was basically driven through Chelsea, but there was all that PSR. Help me, Chelsea. We actually had to go begging at Chelsea's doorstep to help us for PSR. I wonder if this is to 0-1 back with Disasi. It's the only reason. Because quite simply, ever since his stinker, ever since he got absolutely murdered at the Etihad on the dance floor, right? We haven't seen him since. He's not appeared off the bench. Axel Disasi's last game was last seen in Manchester at the Etihad, backing off and not doing the business. And that's the last time we saw Axel. So in my opinion, I can't see this one happening again. However, if it's PSR, then it's PSR. It's PSR, isn't it, people? You know, we have to always look at sort of situations, and we formed an ally with Chelsea and Everton last season, and we might actually have to do it again. So, yeah, let's see what happens. I don't want Axel. I don't want Disasi. I don't want any of that nonsense in and around my squad. But there we go. Right, as I said, there's loads of news that have come up today, loads of talking points. And by the way, the chat, you've been absolutely on fire. I really appreciate it that you guys are there. Now, a bit of breaking news has come in, actually, from Craig Hope, who, again, is a journalist who works for the Daily Mail and a chief football reporter and corresponds for the North East. And he has said this about Harvey Barnes. It's understood that Eddie Howe does not want to lose Harvey Barnes, and it appears more likely he will stay at Newcastle. However, Jacob Ramsey retains admirers within Newcastle's coaching and recruitment setup. Basically, Harvey Barnes ain't going nowhere, but it's up to Newcastle to bid. Now, Newcastle is a weird situation and a weird club. The reason why Newcastle is a weird situation and weird club is because they've had two stinking transfer windows. The summer and the January, they've done nothing really of scope. They've done absolutely nothing of scope, Newcastle. But there's big talk of Newcastle dropping a bit of cash this summer. They've been linked to quite a few players. They've been linked to Jack Grealish. They've been linked to Ramsey. They were linked to someone else out wide who I cannot think of. It will come to me in a second. Newcastle seem really keen on holding a winger. Now, there was talk before that maybe there was going to be a little bit of a swap deal between Harvey Barnes and Jacob Ramsey, and that Villa would take Barnes. They get Ramsey, and everyone's happy. Again, a bit of PSR because Newcastle will be in that. JJ won't want to go, but look, this story's just come in today, earlier. Craig Hope says that actually Eddie Howe doesn't want to lose Harvey Barnes, so I think he stays. I think Harvey Barnes is a good squad player for Newcastle. He definitely helps their squad depth. On his day, he's brilliant, but he's too injured prone, and he's in and out. And I just think Jacob Ramsey, give me a full Jacob Ramsey season where he plays week after week, minute after minute, injury-free, and maybe we'll get a fair picture of Jacob Ramsey. I think this year was a big year for Ramsey, but Ramsey needs to get to a point where he's a bit like Morgan Rogers. Ramsey needs to get to the point where he's a bit like, you actually can't drop me. Like, I have to play every minute. Unai, you have to have me in the starting lineup. And then it goes back to, again, the Rashford situation. Is Rashford taking his minutes? Is Rashford stealing that valuable game time for Jacob Ramsey? So there we go. But they are linked to that. So there we go. And he did cut Chelsea. Keep Rashford and Barnes on the money on Eze. Oh, I love Eberechi Eze. And that is a player that I would absolutely go and steal in a heartbeat, is Eberechi Eze. Right. Okay. I'm loving the chat today, by the way. It's absolutely flying on the chat. Big up to each and every single one of you. As I said, 50 likes is our like target. I think we're 10 likes away. So give that like button a smash. Right. Look, as anyone, I'm trying to find it. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to put any negativity about Tottenham game tomorrow. But I do worry we have a really, really bad stat about playing Spurs at home. You don't want to see it. That's all I'm going to say. Go look it up yourself. I refuse to put any negativity on the game tomorrow. I really do. I refuse to put any negativity on the Tottenham game tomorrow. And again, people, big up to each and every single one of you. Make sure you join me for the watch along tomorrow. If you love a watch along, this is the place to be. We'll be doing it, going live before, then going over to the big up. So big up to each and every single one of you. But yeah, we're not putting any negativity. Screw it. We're being positive. Right. Do you think that Morgan Rogers deserves Premier League Young Player of the Season? Let me know how you feel about that. Good banter, Meeks. You nearly got timed out, didn't you, Meeks? So look, 8 goals and 9 assists so far in his first full Premier League campaign. And that is a bit of a reminder. That is a bit of a reminder, actually, chat. This is Morgan Rogers' first full season as a Villa player. A first full season is actually pretty nuts. I quite like that. I quite like that. That's a reminder to me of how good of a first full season he's had. And he's got in. And look, Michael said, I've already voted for Morgs. Love it. Now, there's a few people kicking off about Unai Emery in a minute. And I'm going to have my say on this one. I'm going to have my say on the Unai Emery situation in a second. But here we go. So you can go on here and you can vote for Morgan Rogers. Look, young player of the season then. Who's he up against? Well, these are the nominees. Now, I'm going to give my first thoughts, feelings, emotions. You can't see it because I'm on the wrong tab. Let me share you the right screen. I've actually shared you the wrong screen there because it's gone over to here. Here's his nominations. This is who Morgan Rogers is up against. Let me sure it works for you all. And in fact, see if I can go a little bit bigger so you can see it. There we go. Right. Morgan Rogers is up against Liam Delap. Fair, but no. Fair, but no. Because for me, Liam Delap, at Ipswich, he's done well. He's broke on the team, scored goals, but he didn't do enough to keep them up, Anthony Elanga, good season, but with Forest bottling it, I think you miss out. Gravenberch is a boring choice. I'll be honest. Gravenberch is a boring choice. I don't like it. How instrumental has he been? We'll have to wait and see. By the way, big up to Meeks, who's now a new moderators. We'll always add a new moderators, so big up to Meeks. So yeah. Dean Huijsen, all right, had a good one, but he's off to Real Madrid, so screw him. Cole Palmer, absolutely no way. He's been missing in every big game for Chelsea this season, ghosting it. João Pedro, fair. Morgan Rogers, absolutely. And William Saliba, fair. Again, a good season, but again, Arsenal, it's all a bit too easy for the big boys. Morgan Rogers stands out in that list. People talk about Morgan Rogers more than any of those names. And I'll even say this. Do you guys agree with me on this chat? Morgan Rogers has had a better season than Cole Palmer. Facts, right? Gary said they only pick winning team. Oh, no, it's disgusting, Gary. Morgan is the standout, Kevin. But listen, Morgan Rogers has had a better season than Cole Palmer. I don't want to hear otherwise. Would you agree? Would you agree on that one? Would you agree on that one? Because I do. I really think it's got to be that one. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Morgan Rogers definitely for me wins that. Now, people are not happy that Unai Emery's been nominated and hasn't been nominated for the manager of the season, and I'm gonna agree. I think Unai, if he maybe gets Champions League football, and this is the hard one, if Unai gets Champions League football, then he should be in it. He should be in it. Really should be in it. If Unai Emery gets Champions League football, then he should be in it. However, what I don't like is Thomas Frank. I think you have to say fair play. You've done a good job. You've been pretty consistent. Go take some flowers. I think Frank been in there. Eddie Howe has to be in it because he has won a trophy. He's won a trophy, right? He's won a trophy. And that's all I care about is that Eddie Howe's stepped up and gone, do you know what? I've delivered something. And not only won a trophy, but basically put old... how do I say this? Put old Newcastle back in contention of where he belongs, which is in Champions League. So let me just get the graphic up. That's what I was waffling for. Now I can concentrate. I've got the graphic up. So Eddie Howe definitely deserves to be in that. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Thomas Frank, yes. Eddie Howe, yes. Nuno is an interesting one because Nuno, for me, has taken Nottingham Forest from 17th to European football. You have to take your flowers for that. You have to take your flowers. Even if Nuno doesn't get Champions League, which is probably not going to happen now, you have to take your flowers from going from 17th to that. There is rumours, by the way, of Nuno going to Saudi Arabia. Don't know if anyone's aware of that. But he might be going back to Saudi. Wolfie did a story on it today. The one I don't get is the Wolves manager. All right, yeah, well done. You've come in your first season in England. You went on that unbeaten run with Wolves. You became the most informed team. You turned Wolves season around. Really, though? Manager of the season? Really? Really? And then Arne Slot wins the Prem for the first time. And I get that Newcastle. I really did understand why a lot of people are saying, look, at the end of the day, Eddie Howe didn't have European football to contend with. Absolutely. But you can't take away what he's done. He's got Newcastle back into Champions League football and he's won a trophy. If he didn't win a trophy, I'm hearing the argument, Eddie didn't have a competition. Listen, he's gone and done something that Newcastle have been craving for over 4 decades. He's also backed it up with basically the prestigious land of Champions League football. I have to take my credit to Eddie Howe and Newcastle. He's done a great job. Now, if Villa were not competing in Europe, we would be expecting the same, right? Not just qualifying back in Europe, but we'd want a piece of silverware to there. So, look, big up to Captain who's in the chat as well. Big up to Stephen. Thank you for joining. Why is Ange not on that list? In his world, he probably thinks, look, Wolves manager shouldn't be on it. So there's a slot there. Now, if Unai Emery, I'll say this again, if Unai Emery got Villa Champions League football, he should be on that list and he should be right up there. Meeks is right, as is anyone else who said it. Arne Slot should walk that one. Arne Slot should walk it. He should walk it because winning the Premier League with Liverpool for the first season is the one. Arne Slot will be judged next season, and next season he will, in the sense of, can you retain the Premier League? Can you keep those levels? Hardest thing you can do as a football manager, Pep Guardiola said it, is retaining the Premier League. So there. Eddie Howe or Arne Slot, take a bow. Do like, in a weird way, James is saying, look, Josh, look at the money Newcastle spent. They need to be doing something. Thing is, though, James, as well, look at the last 2 transfer windows. Newcastle are a bit like us. Newcastle can't spend their money how they want to freely. Newcastle are in PSR shackles. Yeah, they've been a bit better, and I think they're going to spend Isak's money heavily. But I just think that Newcastle, I've got to respect. I'm jealous they won a trophy, just like I'm going to be pissed off when Spurs or Man United do it. It better be Man United. I can sit there and say I'm jealous of teams winning silverware, and that's got to change. But yeah, Ange Postecoglou probably thinks he deserves to be right up there. But look, just so they fall off, there's no Pep Guardiola, there's no Mikel Arteta, there's no Manchester United or Spurs manager. It's good to see these other names and faces get the recognition that they probably deserve and should get on there. So there we go. But yeah, big up to everyone. As I said, loving all your comments. So much to discuss in the world of football. And obviously, it's really weird that we're playing at 7:30 tomorrow. Still haven't got my head around that one, to be honest. 7:30 tomorrow. But there we go. Right. Okay. So let's make sure Morgan Rogers. Let's all vote for Morgan Rogers. Make sure you've done that. One little thing. This is my last bit of story, and then I can quickly talk on something that I'm promoting. So please stay tuned, lock in for this as well, and you don't want to miss this one. And I'm probably going to do another video about this as well. Villa need to improve commercially or remain a selling club. Absolutely, big up to you, Frosty, as well. And yeah, look, here we go. Anyone seen this? Aston Villa are 1 week away from opening the new Bullring store. Now, why is this interesting? I'm going to tell you why in a second. Enter now for the chance to stand at an exclusive pre-look event ahead of the official store launch. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a player there opening it up as well. Why is this interesting? I've worked it out, and I think some people online have as well. The reason why this Bullring opening on the 22nd of May is absolutely massive and interesting is the following. I think Aston Villa are going to do something which they haven't got their heads around for a long time. New kit. I am hoping, anticipating, and speculating, because it's not, I haven't got word on this, but I'm speculating like some others. I've done my sort of thought process on this. Aston Villa could release the new kit next week, and then wear it at Manchester United away to show it off. Why is it really important that Villa release a new kit? Well, I've heard and read, and it was confirmed, that the new kit and every sale from the new kit will contribute to PSR. It will contribute to our PSR, which, by the way, 30th of June is the deadline for PSR. And so basically, what better way than getting the kit out early, getting fans enticed with it, showing it off at Old Trafford away, the away kit, because they can be even cleverer and don't have to get the home kit out yet, because everyone cares about the home kit. But get that away kit out, get it done, get the fans on board, get everyone buying it, and let the fans know that they're helping and contributing to the PSR crisis. Again, what I'm saying here could be absolute BS, could be absolute rumours, could be absolute speculation. But why? Why would we be announcing this? Tell me why. Timing. Think about timing. The new Bullring store opening 1 week today. Why a week today? Why 22nd of May? Why are we opening a new store, not in the off season, in the close season, where you would think the new kit's going to be there and you walk into it? Usually, a new store brings new kit. I like that some of you think I'm spot on with this, and I like that you're saying. Again, don't take my word for it, but let's see. Let's see. And I would love to see that come true and go, hey, we're not too thick and shabby here. So big move from Villa if they do that. Because how many teams, have you realised, guys, most teams do audition their new strip for the new season on the last game of the season. Most teams do that. Most teams audition their new strip the last game of the season. We're away, so I expect it to be the away kit. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. So there we go. Okay. Big up to you guys. So yeah, that's a lot of the Villa news today. Loving all the comments on here. 80 quid a pop, won't sell that many. The thing is, Gary, unfortunately, you will. People love the new kits. People love the Adidas brand. People want the new merchandise. It's pretty hard to say no to it if you can afford it. But of course, the money does put people off. And I completely agree with that. And I'm not saying 80 quid a pop is easy to that. And I don't want you to look at me and go, geez, Josh, you just... No. I completely agree. £80 is a lot. But when you say won't sell that many, completely disagree. Villa will sell kits. Villa will absolutely fly the kits off the shelf. It absolutely will fly off the shelf. They do. In fact, listen. Men's medium, you couldn't even get it in the club store. In the first week, Heidi and I went up when we went up. In the first week, you could not get men's medium. You couldn't get it online either. We had to actually go up to the club shop and look again to get men's medium because they cancelled my order online. They cancelled my order online because they didn't have any men's medium in stock. Absolutely nuts. So, yeah, if you're from the USA, definitely order it off the club website. It's the most official and best way to do it, in my opinion. So, guys, tomorrow, Tottenham. A little bit of a preview on that one. In fact, I said I wouldn't do the bad voodoo, but I will. I'm also going to put a link in the chat right now, and I'm going to pin it because this is something that I've found that I want us to get involved in, which makes the game a little bit interesting. I'm going to show you in a minute. It's called Fantasy Picks. It's fantasy football which is bespoke to Villa Tottenham. 5 players, you choose 5 players. They score points throughout the game. The winner, there's £50 up for grabs for the winner. There's £5 entry, £50 up for the winner, and a really good thing. And I would love to do it with some of you guys. So I am going to show you my team in a minute. The only downside is you can't put all Villa players in. You do have to include 2 of the opposition, which is annoying, aka Dusty Spurs players. But I'm going to show you that in a second. Something that I'm going to do, as I said, we're looking at new things with the watch along to keep that interest going as well. And I think it'll be really good if you do love a bit of fantasy football, and of course a little bit of sports side betting on it as well. Then do get involved in that. But look at this Dusty record against Spurs. You're going to hate it. You're going to hate it. You're going to absolutely hate it. Who was it? It was Stato, I think, put it out. Let me put Stato in. I can't even spell. Aston Villa Stato. Where is he? There he is. I think it was Stato. Let me just double check. It was a horrible record against Spurs. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I've got to now. I've got to. Where is he? Where is he? It made me ill. Basically, we don't beat Spurs at home. It's a really bad stat. And I was like, you're joking. Villa Park's our fortress. Why? Stato tweets a lot, so I've got to find it. I saw it yesterday, and it made me ill. Right, here's the first one. Here's the first anti-stat for Villa. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is where we get annoyed. This is where we get annoyed now. This is where we get annoyed. Look, Aston Villa have lost 4-0 and 4-1 in their last 2 Premier League games against Tottenham. Only against Everton and Blackburn have they conceded 4+ in 3 consecutive leagues. We're not going to concede 4 against Spurs, are we? We're not going to concede 4 against Spurs, are we? Surely not. So I'm not having that. I'm absolutely not having that. Gary doesn't want to see it. We're not going to concede, right? Spurs are going to put a dusty side out, right? Spurs are going to put a dusty side out. Surely they put a dusty side out and we're not conceding 4. So that one I'm okay with. By the way, Unai Emery is set to take his 100th. This one's quite cool. This is a positive one. This one's a positive one. Ready? Unai Emery is set to take his 100th game as Aston Villa manager in the Premier League tomorrow night. 100 games. Unai Emery loves it. This guy loves a milestone. This guy will absolutely nail the milestones. Unai Emery ain't losing on his 100th Premier League game, surely. And then let's get. In fact, I've got a lot of positivity as well. Actually, I like these stats because we're coming positive now. Aston Villa are unbeaten in their last 20 home games in all competition, with the Villains having a longer run between September 96 and May 97, so for 24. We're closing down on it. Let's just remember we're 20 games unbeaten at home. However, I'll say this, a draw ain't good enough against Dusty Spurs. A draw ain't good enough against Dusty Spurs. I really mean that. We have to be beating them. So there we go. We love that one. I can't find the Tottenham. Here it is. No, it's not. This one is a negative one for Spurs as well. I'll show you this. Tottenham have only won 1 Premier League game in their last 10 games in competitions, which was against Southampton. So Tottenham have only won 1 game against Southampton. This is why Ange gets bantered off the park. Yeah, they've had 2 draws, Bournemouth and West Ham. The rest they've lost. It's an absolute abysmal record for Tottenham. And there we go. Yeah, I am panicking. I'm panicking about this game. I'm nervous, guys. I'm actually nervous. I'm super nervous for Tottenham. Don't know why. I don't know why. I think I've got to find this. Aston Villa Tottenham form. I've got to find it. Who posted it? It was a damning one. Maybe that's the way. Maybe it's the way to stay off it. Maybe that is the way. Maybe I'm not going to show you the horrible form, but I'm nervous, people, because yeah, we have to beat these lot. I want to see that. I want to see, as I said, I want to see number 66, number 54, number 37 all play for Tottenham tomorrow. I want to see, yeah, I want to see those jokers on the pitch. And when I say jokers, no disrespect, I want to see the under 18s. I want to see the really, really obscure numbers. You know, give me a number 96 in there. You know, that sort of shirt number on there. Tottenham fully rotated. You've put out those youngsters. Happy days. And yeah, here's another positive stat. I like this one. Here's another positive stat. If Aston Villa beat Tottenham on Friday, it will be our 32nd win of the season in all competitions, which would set a new club record for total of victories. So, hey, listen, Unai Emery, 100 milestone. Villa looking for a milestone in terms of the most wins in one season. What can go wrong? What could go wrong? Oh, guys, I get nervous. I actually get really nervous about this because I don't want to see us up against bloody Spurs. I'm going to have one more look for this thing, but I think it's right that I don't show you it. But yeah, basically, we'll save that for the watch along tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. Some people ain't nervous. I like your positivity in the chat. The one thing we can't do is take it for granted. Look, as I said, we're at home. It's our fortress. 20 games unbeaten for a reason. We've got Don Unai Emery on his 100th game. We've got a chance to have the most ever wins in all competitions at Villa Park. I expect Spurs to rotate. I did message Deji, but he couldn't get back to me. And I want to know we're getting top 5. So yeah, I am panicking a little bit, chat. Yeah, I do believe. I do believe we're winning tomorrow. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sat here. I know we're not losing to Spurs, but it just shows how much this game means. It just shows how much this game means to me. Okay. So I'm just there. Big up to you guys. Right. So yeah, for the watch along tomorrow, as I said, I'm doing something again, pretty cool, a good initiative, and I would love it if you guys can get involved with me. I really would. And it's the pinned comment in the chat. I'm just going to show you now. Now, as I said, if you like your fantasy football, if you like something that's a little bit different, then do get involved in this. And as I said, we are trying to get as many people on board with this, a big competition. The prize money will increase the more we have it in. But as you can see, now there are 2 other content creators on here, FUTV and the Muppeteers, and we are called AVFTS. So they're doing the Chelsea United game tomorrow. You don't want to join their leaderboard. They've got 3 entries, okay? And I want to have more entries than those 2 as well. So I'm relying on you guys. I'm relying on you guys to help me out with that. So listen to this. As I said, you can see the entry. The prize is right there. It's £50 prize. Now, there'll be a leaderboard where you can see who and what ranking you are as well. So that's very clear to see. And the money is spread. The rules then. Okay, here are the rules. Quite simple. You have 5 players. You can have 3 from the same team. You must have 1 keeper, minimum 1 defender, and maximum 2 forwards. There's a salary cap as well, so it's not that easy. There's a bit of a salary cap, which makes it interesting. And this is the scoring system. You have appearances for points. So you get 60 minutes, you get 2 points. Start the match, you get 1. Goals, if it's a forward or midfielder, 5, defender 6. And if Emi Martinez scores a bullet header, because we've sent him up for the corner, it's 8. You get points for saves, assists, clean sheets, it's all there. But you do also get negative points for cards, own goals, etc. So good rules there, very easy to follow. So I will show you my team. And I want to know, are you guys going to beat me? That's the question I've got for you. Let me resend it then. Sorry, I'll resend that link for you. Give me a second. I've used an old link. I've just seen that. I'll use an old link. In fact, let me just, I'll copy and paste it in a second. Sorry. Are you going to beat me with this selection? I have gone with the following. And I might change it last minute, but I've gone Emi in goal, clean sheet vibes against Spurs. I've got Morgan Rogers and I've got Watkins as my Villa players. I nearly put Asensio in, but I think these 3 are going to have the biggest impact. I'm not going the Spurs keeper, so it's got to be Emi. And then I thought, am I going to try and get a defender in with clean sheets or goals? Or am I going, no, I'm going Morgan Rogers and Watkins. And then I thought, do you know what? Because I want the Villa win badly tomorrow, I'm not putting in an attacking Spurs player. I'm putting in Pedro Porro and I'm putting in Odobert. I've actually taken a hit on purpose on Odobert. I'm a bit superstitious. You'll probably beat me, but Odobert, I'm thinking, will do nothing against us. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's my team. So I'm going to challenge you guys. I'm going to send the link in. Can you beat my team? Can you beat my side? Can you beat me to the top of the leaderboard? Do you know the ball better than I am? I'm going to send the link again. Sai AVFC, could you commented? Can you let me know if this link works for you, my friend? Let me know if this link works for you. I'm putting it in the chat now. If not, I will get it sorted. But yeah, hopefully, I'm going to try it myself. It should work. It should work, that link there. And if so, I will repin that one. But yeah, have a go. I want you guys to see, and it makes the watch along a little bit funner tomorrow and the game. And I also want to get the bragging rights. But yeah, I'm confident we do Spurs. Who was paid to come up with that? FUTV, says Rub P. Who was paid to come up with that name? I think it stands for Forever United TV. I think it stands for Forever United TV. I've got to be honest. Sorry, does it work, mate? Is that you saying it works? But yeah, let's try and beat those two channels, as I said. And if we do have the most people in our entries, so if we do have more than 3 entries and more people than them, then I will absolutely, do a giveaway as well. Yeah, it works. Society says it works. So brilliant. So yeah, if we have more entries than those other 2 channels, I will do a matched giveaway on that one. So come and get involved, get in the leaderboard. Let's try and beat those other 2 channels. And as I said, get the Villa boys in. Do you know who's going to have an impact on the game tomorrow? Would you have put Asensio in? Donyell Marlon, Bailey? Would you have put in, players? And let me know where your vibe is. Who's performing well tomorrow? Is John McGinn going to have a stormer higher up the pitch? Think Villa. Look, the more I say this, I really do believe Villa are going to have a stormer tomorrow. I really do believe Villa are going to absolutely have a stormer. I think we're going to score quite a few goals, and I think it's going to be a beautiful sight. I really do. And look, that's why with my lineup and my prediction, I have gone with, the fact that I think Rodgers and Watkins are going to lead the line. I think they're going to be, very much a part of the side. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to them. I think the only question is in the team, again, is will he go with a similar side that he did against Bournemouth? I think so. I think Unai likes consistency. I think he likes the same teams. And I think that he is very much someone who will be consistent with his selection. The only one that I do never know is left back. I think left back is a toss-up, but I think it's pretty much going to be similar. I think the only thing is it Ming? These are the 2 questions I always ask. Is it Mings or Pau Torres? Is it Dean or Matson? Is it... Well, it's not Ramsey anymore. So, yeah. And I think the rest picks itself. I think Onana will 100% play. I think the team against Bournemouth basically starts again. As I said, maybe the centre-back and left-back changes. And then it's who replaces Jacob Ramsey? Who goes and plays the Ramsey role? Who obviously started against Bournemouth. And that'll be interesting to see who he chooses for that. So, yeah, really, really interested in that one, people. And love to know your thoughts. But as I said, thank you to everyone who's tuned in today. I really appreciate it if you go take your time and get involved in these fantasy picks. I'm going to put the chat in a few times. Go and get involved. Massively helps me out as well. Massively helps yourself out. It's a little bit of fun. It's something different. It's called fantasy picks. And play fantasy football with your community. I want to see if you guys know ball better than me. Choose the players who are going to make the most impact. And if you're confident you know who is going to make an impact, get it down there. Get in the AVFTS League. And let's show our community spirit. I'd absolutely love that. And that link is absolutely there. And I'll put it in the description and the comments as well. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a Watkins-Rodgers combo. I think we're going to see at least another 2 goals from Watkins. I think Rodgers is going to have a few assists. It's going to be lush. It's going to be incredible. And I can't wait for it. And yeah, I may do something else, another section to show you guys that tomorrow. I really hope you guys get involved. But How come another top teams, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, never change the centre halves unless there's injuries? Interesting. Consistency of the spine is always key. Liverpool, by the way, have got very good options. It's harder to beat Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson. But maybe then it does show that, is Simicast and Conor Bradley good enough backup against Trent and Andy Robertson? Maybe, maybe not. I do look at it like that, Marine Boy. So there we go. Just aiming for Champions League and not FA Cup will backfire again. Disrespect to fans and our forefathers founders. Oh, I love the FA Cup. I wish we won it, but we haven't. And that is on Saturday as well. So yeah, big up to you guys. I really appreciate it. Don Mallon. Some of you have got big Don Mallon. Villaman Cloudy's got Mallon, Watkins, Rogers, Asensio, Nana, Kamara, Matson, Mings, Consa, Cash, Emmy. Oh, backwards. Emmy, Cash, Consa, Mings, Matson, Kamara, and Anana, Asensio, Rogers, Watkins, Mallon. You reckon Mallon gets the start? Wow. Wow. Mallon to get a start. Bradley's the top prospect. Love him at Villa. And Sai says, hope we can dump Elmerford for Frimpong. Release fee is 36. Frimpong to Liverpool, it seems. But Sai, get yourself in this league, Sai. I want to see what your 5 players would be. And big up to everyone else. Come and get involved. Come and get involved in the fantasy peak. It would be absolutely amazing. I'm going to wrap up now. Appreciate it. We've had a long one tonight and it's been worth it. It's been great value, great entertainment. You lot have been absolutely quality in the chat. You've been flying. As I said, we'll be doing a bit more content tomorrow. And of course, build up to the game and then the live watch along. If you love a watch along, then I'll be delivering you the vibes of Tottenham, Villa. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be on the big up. And you lot are world class. And as always, if you haven't, put the notification bell on right now. Put the notification bell on right now. Get it locked in. Get it signed up. The numbers have been brilliant the last 2 evenings, and that's all because of you guys. And seriously, I'm really grateful. Heidi's really grateful for all the support that you've given the channel. It's absolutely brilliant. We want to keep growing as a Villa fan content channel. I know there's loads of brilliant Villa fan content channels out there. Everyone's different. I hope I give my different approach and you guys enjoy it. And I try to interact with the chat as much as possible. I think that's probably one thing I always say is, your voice definitely gets heard in the chat, 100%. And I want to make sure if you do comment, you get read. Michael says, I have my notification on, didn't get one for yesterday. Right, reset that notification. Yes, he is, Rub P. I've been blanked. I've genuinely been blanked, Rub. I've genuinely been blanked. I sent him the message. I called him out. I said, tonight, come on. I'll try again and get him on tomorrow, maybe, for the build-up. Let's see. Let's see if I can get him on for the build-up. But there we go. So, get that notification bell sorted. Get in the fantasy pits. Come on. Those of you who like your fantasy football and fantasy sports, this is your place to shine. Get involved with it. Come and use it. And you lot are absolute legends out here. I'm going to wrap up. Shout outs to you all. Shout out. Oh, look, just in time for Pete to come. Pete, you're a bit late. Come and give your thoughts tomorrow, Pete. But yeah, big up to Rub P, Michael, Villaman, Cloudy, Peaky Blinder, Marine Boy, Stephen, 1874. Big up to Lee, Collison's been in there, Cy, Gary, D, anyone who's been listening, anyone who's been around, Kevin, big up to everyone. Big up to Adam Sky as well, legend. You watching our win? No, Man United will be winning, Pete. I've already told you this. But yeah, as I said, bow out on this. I'm out of here. Legends, each and every single one of you, whether you've commented, listened, got involved, you are incredible. Peace out. Love out. Up the bloody Villa. Down the bloody Spurs. I'm out of here. Ta-da.